Over the Rhine International Film Festival is 3 days packed full of movies, discussions, and diversity. And here with me to talk a little bit about the event is Director of Strategic Operations, Jason Harris, and Artistic Director, T.D. Sterenzi. Gentlemen, good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Jason, I'm going to ask you the first question.
Okay.
What's the inspiration behind starting this diversity film festival? And it's led by those who have disabilities.
Yeah, so I think it's important that, you know, sometimes you get film festivals and they are looking in sort of boxes, but people live and have multiple identities, and being able to tell stories through multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
But it's still important that the disability community is a part of it and leading it, because sometimes disability is left out of the diversity conversation or is not seen as an identity that people also have that might intersect with other identities that people have. So it's important to sort of broaden sort of the way that we're talking and viewing films to include the realities for a lot of people, instead of just trying this fixed notion.
That's very true. And TT, what's your definition of diversity? Because people think black and white, but there's more to it, right?
Right, yeah, and that's something that, again, as Jason talked about, that again within the film industry as a whole, we've seen the focus on people of color, women, the LGBTQ community, people of different faiths. So for us, the festival is an opportunity to kind of find ways to incorporate disability into those kinds of groups as well, really to kind of spotlight the intersectionality of it all, because as Jason said, people have multiple identities. So for us, the films that work the best are the films that kind of find that sweet spot where you may have a person of color who also has a disability, but who's also maybe potentially of a different faith, a traditional faith group. So a story about their experiences is one that will actually draw in people from very diverse kinds of communities looking for a little piece of themselves in that reflection. So that's, like I said, that's kind of what we're looking for. That's a sweet spot for us.
So what are some things we should look forward to this year's festival?
Well, I'm excited for Spellers, which I think is a movie that's the closing night film, which talks about and shares the experiences of non-speaking AAC autistic users, and I think, you know, sort of showing this in sort of a different light than is sort of what always been shown, and sort of the diversity within that community and connecting it in some ways. I think it will be a really powerful film that I'm excited to see.
And so what's LAD's involvement in all this?
So LAD is the group that organizes the film festival and brought the film festival, but also people who are in the LAD community, people who get supports from LAD are also showing up to the films, also volunteering. They're involved with doing introductions and other things. So I mean, again, making it so this is a place that everybody's sort of welcomed and feels like people are, you know, seeing stories and things that are familiar, but also meeting new people and new experiences as well.
TT, would you have to agree?
Definitely. Yeah, I feel, again, one of the kind of the guiding principles, like I said, for our festival is this idea of finding ways to make sure that disability is incorporated into that larger conversation. And we've seen festivals that have struggled with that, even larger festivals that have opportunities where there's a miss maybe on accessibility concerns and things like that. So we are definitely trying to make sure that we find ways to make sure that anyone who comes is going to find and have a really great accessible experience. They're going to have the opportunity to see all of these different stories that may not have been told, you know, as authentically as they could have been in the past, but now, because there are more opportunities for people to kind of seize control of their stories, we get to see that and bring those stories here now.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you both for coming on. I think it's important for people to have an open mind to this as well, going to this film festival. And if you are interested in auditions, there's an open casting call for performers with disabilities from 11 to 2. It's 1 week from today at the Ensemble Theater downtown. We do have the ticket link on local12.com. Just click the news tab and scroll down to the Get It Now link.